We are.
So I muted us there, thinking that would mute. That would just mute to the stream,
Yeah.
but apparently, all the things I was saying to you, you didn't hear. So,
Yeah, I didn't hear.
so we were
I thought you were
fully
messing
muted.
with me. I thought you
All
were
right.
messing with me. Like, there we go. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll just go ahead and do a little show intro here.
Welcome to Tuesday, where Brent screws with Mike.
Live with Brent and Mike. Live with Brent and Mike.
Well, it's kind of fun to start that way.
Yeah.
If
I'm
nothing
having
else,
fun.
it wakes people up. Does everybody have a cup of coffee?
I
Is
have a
everybody
cup of
ready to
coffee.
roll?
For some reason, my coffee tastes weird this morning, and I don't know what I did. I don't know if I just didn't clean my cup out well enough, or something. But it's got like a little bit of a kick. It's almost like it's almost like spicy coffee today.
Someone
Or
put a
like
little
chili coffee.
cayenne pepper in your
Yeah, well,
coffee
and
mix.
that's kind of what it is. It's almost like it doesn't have a lot of taste to it, but it's got a kick. If that's meaning there's not an extra taste. No, just music. Oh, yeah. Craig Brent was messing with me this morning. He likes to do this. He's decided that we're leveling up the production value of the show by giving people a warm up opportunity to watch the screen in the background and not just push and shock and awe people with live at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're gonna warm everybody up with just with the background. And what we've not yet determined is how much can people hear us. And if you want to see something funny, go watch the beginning of the live show yesterday, because we were live on camera and then we weren't live on camera, but the audio was still there, and I didn't know that we were live on camera. And today Brent just muted all of us, so I guess he was talking to me and I couldn't hear anything. So and no, we have not had Irish coffees yet this morning. um, I had one of those days on the golf course yesterday where I probably should still be drinking. I didn't even drink on the course yesterday, but it was just
That
it was
good, huh?
rough.
Did you
I have
try a
so
new
much head
putter?
trash going on. Like I have so much head trash. Uh, and the worst is when you like one of the guys that typically get out there and play with would get out there often. He's now spending more time up in another town in Arizona, and it hasn't been in town now for the last month. So it's the first time we had gotten out as a group. And right out of the gate, he's telling me I'm pushing putts and I'm pulling putts and all this kind of stuff. And I didn't ask for feedback. And when I'm on the course and, in that kind of environment, I have no interest in feedback. Like technically, I know how to putt a golf ball. I don't need to hear someone tell me I pulled it when I missed it to the left, or I pushed it when I missed it to the right, because that's typically what happens. My problem was my lines were off. My lines and my pace were off, so I knew what was going on. It wasn't a stroke thing. Um, but then you start getting in your head, and I'm like, fuck me, like this is just not this is not mentally healthy. So a little bit later in the round, we almost got to the point where we were going to kill each other, and not that bad, but he knocked back a divot after hitting the ball, and so I threw it toward him, and he wasn't looking, and he smacked him right in the face. So the other guy we're playing with thought, okay, now we're going to go to blows because Mike intentionally is throwing shit at Will, and that was not the case. But anyway, so there you go. That's what happens when you're 50. You're playing with someone who's all in their 40s, and then exactly 6 minutes in. No, I cursed before that. I cursed like within the 2-second mark, depending on what the 6 minute in is. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, my uncle was a.
There's a story from the golf course.
My uncle used to coach us and say, "No," he used to say, "Never left, never right, never short."
Yeah, that's awesome. Again,
you might as well just say, "Put it in the hole."
Put it in the hole. Well, but that's the objective, right? Like that's the objective. So what I'm working on is. I'm very mechanical in a lot of things. I'm working on being less mechanical on the golf course. Just channel your inner whatever Bill Murray's character was. Combination Bill Murray and Chevy Chase. Be like
the ball.
No. Yeah, be the ball. And you're gonna
be the ball, Danny. Just be the ball.
I want to be a combination of Carl, the greenskeeper, and Chevy Chase. And just go out there and play around like the priest,
and so how is it that we can apply this to L&D? Can you just like be the knowledge, Danny? Just be the knowledge. Be the content, Danny.
No, the way that we apply it to L&D is we're small as we're like, well, we're waiting.
$50 says the Smales kid picks his nose.
Such a good movie. It is such a good movie.
$100 says he eats it. Oh,
nothing in like it.
We got some news today. Did you get your script fired up?
I've got my script. It is fired up. I just need to find it on my screen, and I am good to go. Yep.
There it is.
There we go.
Fired in. All right, let's get into this magic day. So here's an interesting thing from an AI perspective from our executive producer. I did 2 scripts. One I used Pro, and the other I used Fast, and we're going with the Pro today. So, typically I don't go with the Pro, but I decided to go with the Pro today. So we'll see how this goes. And in 3, 2, 1.
It's time for today's headlines.
Good morning, corporate educators, instructional designers, and everyone who has ever had to forcefully remind me that reading a 100-slide PowerPoint is not a learning objective. I'm Brent.
And I'm Mike. Grab your coffee, update your scoring packages because the industry is moving faster than an employee clicking next on a mandatory compliance module. Let's run the show.
Today's breaking news.
We start with breaking news that proves the C-suite is officially terrified of falling behind. According to a massive new survey released yesterday by Colibra and the Harris Poll, a whopping 84% of U.S. technology decision makers say their organizations must increase AI spending over the next 12 months just to remain competitive with big tech.
It's good to know that spending is a key competitive indicator and indication of whether or not you're winning. But here is the punchline, folks. 88% of them admit that their organizations are still not using AI to its full potential. They are literally throwing millions of dollars at algorithms and hoping productivity magically happens. It's like buying whoa, that's weird. I just read you.
Keep going.
There we go. So it's like buying a Formula One car for someone who only has a learner's permit for a golf cart. I've got one of those. And Brent, this is exactly why This is the most critical story for the L&D community today. The executives have bought the shiny new toys. Now they're staring at us, asking why profits haven't tripled. L&D is the bridge. We have to move from just buying AI to actually training the workforce on how to use it. And if we don't upskill the staff, the multi-million-dollar AI investment is just an expensive chatbot that writes bad sea shanties about quarterly earnings.
It's time for technology and innovation.
Speaking of AI, let's talk tech and innovation. For decades, L&D has been chasing the holy grail, proving our ROI. Well, grab your chalices, because according to the Cornerstone's On Demand March 2026 release, AI agents are here to finally turn L&D into a measurable business function. We are talking about true learning in the flow of work. AI agents are now tracking skill application in real time. They watch what employees are doing in their CRM or coding apps, spot skill gaps, and deliver targeted micro learning right then and there.
Hey, I see you're about to send a passive-aggressive email to Karen in accounting. Here's a 30-second module in emotional intelligence.
You nailed it exactly. Here's why it matters to L&D. This completely changes our brand. We are no longer the course catalog people. We're the real-time performance drivers. We can finally link learning directly to productivity, quality, revenue outcomes. It's the end of smile sheets and the dawn, wait for it, hard data.
Hard data? Holy smokes.
And now for our human and culture segment.
But it's not all sunshine and automated rainbows. Let's talk human culture. A massive new report from SHRM covering March 2026 HR tech trends highlights a terrifying new phenomenon, the verification tax. Here we go again. According to the AI Trust Report, 86% of senior leaders are reporting negative psychological effects from AI use, burnout, anxiety, and analysis paralysis. Why? Because they don't trust the AI outputs. Leaders are now spending nearly as much time checking the AI's work as they would have spent just doing it themselves.
It's kind of like hiring an intern who works at the speed of light but lies 20% of the time. You're exhausted just watching them.
Precisely. And why is this vital for L&D? We can't just train people on prompt engineering anymore. We have to train on cognitive load management and AI resilience. L&D must step in to teach leaders how to establish workflows that limit unnecessary verification loops. We need to teach people when good enough is actually good enough before our entire executive team burns out from proofreading robot hallucinations.
And now, a random industry with an L&D problem. Solving the L&D problem.
All right, let's pivot to industry-specific news. If you work in healthcare L&D, you might want to hold on to your seat. According to Tech Class's March 2026 Guide on Mandatory Healthcare Compliance, the regulatory landscape has shifted from educational to punitive. Federal agencies are leveraging civil monetary penalties to force compliance. And the newest mandatory curriculum, AI literacy and algorithmic ethics. Clinicians now have to be trained on the legal obligations to disclose AI use and the ethical imperative to validate its outputs.
You can't just blame the computer when the computer misdiagnoses a patient.
Right. Why this matters to L&D. In healthcare, highly reliable organizations, HRO training is no longer just a buzzword. It's a legal shield. L&D is literally the front defense against systemic failure and massive lawsuits. We have to build tiered training. from the board of directors down to the clinical end users on the limitations of AI tools and the absolute necessity of human in the loop decision making. We're saving lives and saving wallets.
And now for the news in authoring tools.
Finally, let's look at the tools of our trade. The authoring tool arms race is officially nuclear. This week, we saw massive updates from the heavy hitters. Articulate Storyline rolled out built-in AI tools for translation and a brand new integrated accessibility checker that automatically scans for WCAG compliance issues. Meanwhile, iSpring Suite Max didn't just update. They rebranded completely to iSpring Suite AI, allowing designers to generate images directly inside the authoring tool without needing third-party generators like Midjourney or DALL-E.
Why this matters to L&D, it completely streamlines our workflow. By integrating AI and accessibility directly into the authoring environment, instructional designers can say goodbye to writer's block. Juggling 5 different software subscriptions and missing alt text. We're moving from course builders to learning architects. The tools are doing the heavy lifting. We get to do the high level design.
Go figure. And that's our L&D morning brief. Keep your objectives measurable and your coffee strong.
We will see you tomorrow.
Wait, we have to have an exit sound. This is for you, Craig.
Live with Brent and Mike.
We'll get some video to go with that pretty soon. Okay, so what did you think of Executive Producer Pro?
I would have, I think, and I mean, one of it was a mistake I made where I kept going on. I was reading one of the ones that you were supposed to read, but I also I'd like, the thing I would do is I'd have it do more back and forth. Like, shouldn't go more than, let's just call it, I don't even know how we'd want to say it, but maybe it's like no more than 3 sentences, up to 3 sentences, and then back to the other person, just so that there's more kind of like back and forth.
It's funny how that the fast version automatically does that, right? Like that we've gotten used to it because I've used the fast so many times with the executive producer, and to switch to pro, it's almost like it overthinks it. It's thinking too hard about how it should write it and what one person should say and all of that. So yeah, it goes, one person's script seems to go long. Each chunk of text is a lot longer than in the fast format too. So I don't know if it stretches out the show or if it's still keeping it to under 15 minutes.
Yeah, we got it. It was pretty tight. I mean, we started at, let me just go back. Craig was giving me crap 6 minutes in for cursing, and we're at 6:19. So Craig took it literally, like we're going to wrap the show up when the producer told us to wrap the show up. Look, we are wetware. We are in control of our own destiny here. We are not going to limit ourselves to what the AI pushes in front of us. Come on, Craig. And I hope we see you tomorrow. Like we see you out there in the same way that we see you every day. We know you're out there.
Well, hopefully we get to see his icon too. All right, so let's go back to the top of the stories. Where are we at? I mean, I think one of the things that stands out today is that there's some duplicate stories in here that it picked.
Yeah.
But again, like we've always said, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think the topic is the most important thing. The fact that we kind of make it a news story. It's what I've kind of always known from the beginning. And in doing this, there's not a lot of daily crazy things going on in the L&D industry, so it has to kind of reach. And so I think that's okay. But story number one, the Harris poll, 84% of U.S. technology decision makers say their organizations must increase AI spending over the next 12 months just to remain competitive with big tech. I got a pet peeve with the word must, and so it just always makes me laugh every time I see it in the script. But that's just me.
Yeah. What's the what is the board's responsibility in organizations? What is the leadership's responsibility in organizations? Are the people who are doing the work, what's their responsibility inside organizations? And then you can start to realize whether or not it makes sense for you to do it or not. But it is kind of, I wonder, it kind of gets into some of the marketing spend type stuff. Like, at what point do you use spend as a key performance indicator? And, do you call it investment? Like, is it spend or is it investment? And how are you looking at it? I don't know. I have a hard time with people saying, it's not working for us. We've not figured out how to make it work for us. You must spend more.
Well, doesn't this go back to the old, it depends on who the survey is asking and who's going to make money on this. So, or who wins by making sure that people do this. So according to a massive new survey released yesterday, the Colibri and Harris polls 84% technology decision makers. Organizations must increase AI spending over the next 12 months just to remain competitive with big tech. Okay, so what if your organization isn't part of big tech? Do you need to be competitive with big tech? Is that what it's saying?
Well, so I'm in the news article, and Felix Van Damali, co-founder and CEO of Calibra, said our latest survey shows a decisive shift from experimentation to demand for rigorous, transparent standards. The results send a clear message that the industry is expecting a level of accountability that matches the speed of the AI. So that I like when you get into things that are. Let me make sure I'm reading the right one. That's the same story. So I'm trying to get to the 64. This is the other one that's really funny. 64% of decision makers consider it a red flag from a hiring perspective if a prospective employee cannot demonstrate familiarity with AI tools in an interview. I love it. Could you imagine? Everybody gets their list of interview questions, and now somebody gets one. Tell me about a time where you used an LLM to achieve a problem,
To achieve a learning objective.
to help solve a problem. Yeah. Tell me about a time where you've used an LLM to help solve a problem. What did you do when it didn't work properly?
And my answer would be, I needed to write a resume and cover letter for this job, and I asked AI to do it.
I keyword stuffed the crap out of this thing.
My prompt was make it so she calls me.
We're sitting here talking to each other, right? But
That's a cartoon. That's definitely a four panel comic strip right there.
Dude, how about what Gemini did with my little cockroach and and lobster.
Oh, that was good. So I did learn that the lobster was the mascot for Open Claw. So that answered my question. I thought maybe it was in reference to the stories about lobsters and how they're social and how they like their whole life cycle and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and I thought you were going back and saying, and like looking at it and saying, like, why did Open Claw choose the lobster as the mascot?
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah, like what's the story behind the lobster? And there's a lot of science behind lobsters these days for some reason. Yeah.
So I went back. I had asked Grok that question. I don't recall the answer, so it didn't stick. But I don't recall the detail. We can go back and take a look at what Grok shared around it. But it was because at that point, one of the things that was happening, and I say at that point, like it was so long ago, literally 4 weeks ago, maybe 6. It was the lobsters. This is when they were talking about Moltbook, and Moltbook was actually acquired by who acquired Moltbook? Did Meta acquire Moltbook? Anyway, I digress. The speed at how all of this. The yeah, they're so
Molt as in like molting, like animals.
no, you don't know about Moltbook? Well, we talked about Moltbook.
Yeah, no, and I know what Moltbook is, but I thought you were still going on the whole vibe of why they named it that.
I deliberately paused myself because I was going to go down on a
Well, let's go to the
rabbit
next
hole.
story then.
Yeah.
The tech and innovation story was about the L&D chasing the Holy Grail, and I thought this was a good one. And a big shout out to Cornerstone On Demand for getting a shout out. AI agents are here to finally turn L&D into a measurable business function. How learning in the flow of work will transform L&D in 2026. A big shout out to Bob Mosier. Is Cornerstone late to the game? I don't know. Did they build it into their tool? Does anybody know?
I have no idea.
They're tracking skill application in real time. So this is the piece that I'm curious about when they say that. So does this mean now they watch what employees are doing in their CRM or coding apps, spot the skill gaps, and deliver targeted microlearning right then and there? So does this mean that Cornerstone now has API connections into Microsoft 365, Salesforce, all that. So it's literally watching everything that you do and offering up the micro learning because it sees that you've done something wrong or you're about to do something wrong, like the joke. Don't send that passive aggressive email to Karen. Watch this 30-second module on emotional intelligence instead.
Hello, Dave. Like it
Yeah.
is.
I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one, but I kind of knew this is where this was going. And what's interesting about it is before AI, a guy I used to work with a long time ago started up a small company that was doing this for sales teams. He had built a tool that did like monitor all of the things that a sales team was doing, how many calls they were making, how many, all that kind of stuff. And it would interject, educational stuff. And he got so much pushback on it because nobody wanted to be, tracked, and everybody everybody just thought it was too invasive and all that kind of stuff. Well, now AI is here, and everything you do gets tracked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting to me that this is another piece that I think is weird, that the L&D thinks its platforms are going to be the ones that are going to solve all of these problems when Microsoft 365 and Salesforce and all of the other big tools that actually have all of that data can do a lot of this stuff. But I'm not exactly sure who's gonna win out in the end, right?
Do you remember Clippy?
Yeah.
What was Clippy there for?
Clippy was supposed to be just a happy, friendly little guy that helped you when you needed help.
You could just ask questions. You could go do some things. Like the, and that was way back when. That was like, was that like Office, whatever Office version came out with Windows 95? Was that around that same time? Because it was after 3.1 and 3.11. But but I think it all kind of tied into that stuff. And what do we want? We want assistance. But we want assistance the way we want to be assisted, not assistance that is persistent and evasive, and doesn't go too far. Now, from a convenience standpoint, as you start to share more things, you get really excited about how the work ultimately works with you, but you want to have some level of, I want to have some level of control. So I put what I choose into my calendar so that I get alerts on my calendar to let me know when to do different things, whether they're meetings or they're to-dos that I have to get done. Yeah. Now, in a paper calendar, you had the ability to write things down, but it took more work because you had to write it down, and then you had to transfer to the next week, and then you had to transfer to the next week. And now with the computers, you're able to change the date and just push things out, and you could just keep pushing things out. So I think there's this balance of what's your comfort level with giving enough information to the assistant to actually assist you.
Yeah.
And
have you seen the TV commercials? I think it's for Gemini. I think it's for Google. I think they're Google commercials where they're literally explaining and talking through people successfully going through a process. And one of them was a calendar issue. I think it was during one of the basketball games. I saw a bunch of Google commercials on it. But
what's super interesting about Google and some things that have changed recently, like as much as it wants to help, it also at the same time is putting some things in. But paper calendars do go away if you mistakenly leave them in your Uber or on the bus. Like back then it would have been on the bus. Like, oh shit, I've left my freaking calendar on the bus. Can I get back on the airplane? Like all of that kind of stuff. So everybody.
If you leave it in the cloud and then you leave your phone on the bus, you can at least still go somewhere and access it.
Yeah, you can, and redundancy and having those kind of systems in place can be super super helpful. I think the big challenge, at least for me, the challenge from my perspective is who determines what control you're giving up or passing on to something else, and everybody's capacity for risk their spectrum that they want to operate in is going to be a little bit different. But at the same time, remember, as soon as you sign that offer letter and you join that company and you agree to their terms, you're trading some of your stuff. Like, know the game you're playing when you go and play that game. And it makes for interesting conversation and interesting times. I'm part of the reason why I'm messing around with that local version is there's certain things I want to make available that I don't want out there. And there are certain things, certain risks that I don't want to take on. Now I don't operate with state secrets. So it's not like that kind of stuff. And I also just assume that everybody knows everything. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that phone over there is listening. Whether I turn the microphone off or on, somebody out there is capturing some data, doing some things. And I know I'm wearing a Jets hat, not a tinfoil hat, but somebody's capturing something. At what point do you start to say, all right, help me be better at whatever it is that I want to do right now. Help me help myself.
Right. But and then so
back
here's
in the
kind
day,
of
what would you do? You'd put like a rubber band on your wrist as a reminder to do whatever the thing was that you're going to do. Right? You look down, it's click whir, it's this trigger. If you do something bad, you snap the rubber band and you punish yourself for doing that kind of thing. Like whatever the thing is, you come up with these different ways to condition. The question is, who's doing the conditioning?
right. And yeah, to your point, you're subjecting yourself to be conditioned by the powers that be, unless obviously you're being hired into the position to being the conditioner. But this is the phrasing and the conversation around this. So obviously, when we talk about, hey, every time we read one of these stories, and we need to look at where is the source, who's talking about it, who's can make money on this. We have to remember that this particular story, Cornerstone on Demand, is the one that wrote the story. So it knows who its audience is, and they are, going to use all of the buzzwords. So the micro learning, from course catalog people to real-time performance drivers, finally linking learning directly to productivity, quality, and revenue outcomes. Okay, great. It's all good marketing speak. The end of smile sheets and the dawn of hard data. It's all very happy, phrasing and words and all that kind of stuff. But the big question at the end of the day is that they just never really get into the details of it, and how you're going to pull that off. And also, once this is created, how does that change the job of the L&D team? I don't think they ever address that. And obviously I haven't read this article, but this is something that I'm talking about in my LinkedIn posts, that's garnering some activity and conversation around, what is the next job that we do as L&D professionals, or what are our options once all of those things change. And when I read stories like this is what I refer to as sort of the short-term transitional solution. And I don't think anybody knows how long this transition will be around, because it will be really short for some companies, and it will be much longer for other companies. The whole idea of, it doesn't change anything except how we do our work. Oh, okay. Then there's Microsoft, who's like, oh shit, this whole world is changing. Instead of just doing this transitional phase bullshit, we're just going to axe everybody and start over and jump right to the next level of what's coming. So,
we've got a couple of people in the LinkedIn feed, and just one of the things, if you're not seeing your comments on the screen and you're in the LinkedIn feed, know that the comments are coming from our YouTube feed. So you can go to Live with Brent and Mike, our YouTube, and your comments there, and you'll see those show up on the screen.
I'm not putting it in.
Michael
I'm just
asked a question. He said, hi. He says, hi, everyone. Curious to hear what your latest thoughts are on authoring content quickly for LMS content. I see the agentic AI could manage the whole release notes, update content libraries and courses on LMS, or at least automate portions of the workflow. Thoughts. So I think we get into this. That piece is got to YouTube feed. There we go. I was looking at your comments.
isn't that what I said? Go to, yeah.
Got milk? We got
Oh,
YouTube.
got to. Yeah. Oops. Sorry.
Yeah. We're good. We're good. So, I mean, I think this is that whole piece that Brent's talking about. It's like, where are you on, like, hey, it's going to change how we do the work. Well, my definition of culture is how we do what we do. So if it's going to shift culture and change things around, you've also got to decide which one of those things you're willing to take on. And that's super dependent on your business. And when you think about the way that change happens, you change you first, then you change your team, then you change the teams of teams, and then you change the organization. You don't just go out there and say, from on high, this is what our edict is, and now everybody will do this. You know how that works. Like, everybody does this, except when the customer asks for something different, except when Joe in accounting says we need to get all of the whatever done, except when Karen in HR says we need to get whatever. Like, so there's change management. This change management piece is tough, and a lot of times, I think well, one of the bigger challenges is people not actually making a decision. They say things like "we need to" or "we should."
L&D must.
L&D must. There you go. L&D must, and then they go back out and just keep kind of going along, and they do it without context. Like, change without context creates a lot of waste and leads to this thing that we've been talking about, burnout, and reduces resilience and all of
This
that.
here's the other thing too. It's like, this is why I always say, hey, L&D, relax, chill out, stop, follow AI, learn it, play with it, enjoy it. We don't need to do anything until the business changes how it's doing it, until the business decides how they're going to redesign their business around this new AI transition stuff. If this is hard for L&D people to do, because we think very highly of ourselves and we want to impact change and we want to be the change agents. But CEOs aren't sitting in their office going, geez, I really wish I had my L&D leader in here to help us with our AI transition of our company. We're the last ones they want in the room, and we're the last ones that want to be in the room, because that's not our primary focus. Our job is performance improvement, and we wait until we can see what the new performance is that needs to be performed, and then we help people get good at it and perform it. And if there's nobody left to perform, then there's no need for us. So it's a painful reality that I think we need to be thinking about. But it's why we exist. We're here to help people learn and to be better at what they do. We're the knowledge brokers that help the people that need the knowledge get it from those that have the knowledge. And we scale it up by using technology. And we have different methods for doing that. And we understand adult learning theory to do it in the most effective way possible. So, relax, be a part of the business, engage, find out what they're doing, and then make sure all of your strategies match and are cohesive in what they are doing. But we wait until we see what they are doing. And if they ask us our opinions, yeah, definitely give it to them. But we're not going to drive how they run the business. And I may be totally wrong in all of this, but, if you're in there leading the company as an L&D professional, man, do you, and rock on, way to go. Run that business. But I don't see it happening in a lot of places. So anyways, that's my rant for the day. I don't get any more. Mike and I each get one rant per day allowable, and that's mine.
Oh, I didn't realize we had standards.
Yes, I made a rule. Yeah. I just now made that rule up. Brent, shut up.
Okay, one rant per day. Well, I think on the Michael question here, and Michael, if you're still listening, thank you. And if you go to livewithbrentmike.com, you can sign up. We'll get you into the Slack channel. We keep the conversation going on there. as bad as this response is, it truly depends. Like it depends on your decision making criteria that you use in your business and determining what are you willing to outsource and what are you not willing to outsource. Now, my view on it is, yeah, these tools can be a thought partner, but let's not outsource our thinking. And Craig's kind of poking fun here in the chat around, are you saying L&D is not the practice of problem solving? I think L&D absolutely is in the discussion and should be in the practice. And I don't like using the word should, but they should be in the practice of problem solving, just like everybody should be. Like it's a foundational leadership skill, problem solving, decision making, execution, design, communication. Those are fundamental skills from my perspective. They should be there. The challenge is solving a problem without context creates so many freaking other problems downstream. Like, I mean, how many times we started out, I had a buddy that I golf with who I hadn't golfed with in a little bit, and right out of the gate, he's telling me about pushing and pulling putts based on the outcome of the putt, not what he knows about the mechanics.
Hindsight's 2020, asshole.
Right. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole thing. You're like, okay, yes, solve the problem, but don't solve without context. Don't jump right from what into how. Do your root cause analysis, overcome your blind spots, work through your hexagon, solve the problem. Sometimes you won't be part of the solution.
Yeah, and I think my point is, if somebody were to go out and go, wow, I love this Cornerstone product, and this is no bash on you, Cornerstone, all sorts of love to you guys. But it could be any product, right? You're not going to go out there and buy a product for specifically for solving L&D problems, plug it in, and then all of a sudden the business completely changes how it does things by implementing an AI solution system, whatever. And all of a sudden, maybe technically they're not compatible. Maybe now you've got a square peg in a round hole, and then the business changed the round hole to a hexagon hole, and now you can't fit into that either. And so it's just it's crazy that we just don't relax and wait. And to your point, that's the context. We wait and we see the context. If we know the context of the business is shifting, which it is, where AI is causing extreme shifts, this is why we need to sit back and take a breath and relax and watch and wait and do the little things that we can do with the new tools that aren't going to be super disruptive if the whole entire business all of a sudden takes a left turn and starts doing things differently, which they are. Hello, heads up. This is a big deal. Anyways, all right, let's move on to the next story. What is the next story? HR technology trends. Pivoting to specific, no, that's not it. AI trust report. Oh, this is the burnout, anxiety, and analysis paralysis. Do we need to talk about this one, or we kind of talked about the burnout yesterday too? Cognitive load management and AI resilience. We can't just train people on prompt engineering anymore. We have to train on cognitive load management and AI resilience. Yeah. So basically, leaders. This was the question I had yesterday that I don't think I mentioned, but why in the hell are leaders doing all of this AI, reviewing and feeling like it's the verification text? Why are the leaders the ones spending so much time verifying all of this stuff? Don't they have people doing the work for them? I mean, I don't know.
It's I've got to read. I've got the SHRM piece up here, and it's interesting. It cherry picked the specific piece out of it, which is the bots and burnouts offloading mental load of AI among leaders, and pulls that out of the unlikely AI trust report. So it's, again, there's a lot of these. I'm the skeptical me looks at this and says, people paid to have backlinks to stuff built into some of these articles and have kind of pushed them out. And now we're seeing it just kind of churn, and we're in the agitation cycle of it.
You're such a buzzkill, Mike.
I am such a buzzkill, but if you think as a sales or revenue leader or any kind of leader that part of like your value that you deliver to the business is looking at charts and graphs in dashboards and spreadsheets and that kind of stuff, and now it's changed to having to read walls of text from chatbots, you're doing your job wrong. And like, if that's the thing that's getting you stressed out, what you're probably doing here is you probably are asking the AI tool to do too much. And then when it returns all of the things you asked it to just because it can, now you're frustrated that it has so much information in there. And this is where maybe aiming a little bit smaller and missing a little bit smaller, as I drink my coffee, is about small iterative challenges that you put in front of things, and then get the feedback so that you can determine that you solve for that thing and then move on to the next one. This is, to me, on this burnout piece, it's just whiny bitching because they don't know how to manage things, and things have shifted a little bit on their side. And yeah. And I don't know how much of it's real. I love the fact that we're able to put something in, get something out, and then review work. Like real work, not review hypothetical work.
Well, I mean, of course. And, when we're talking about from a content perspective and what we do as professionals, I mean, come on, if you haven't played around with AI enough to know that you can ask it a question, and not only will it give you an answer, a very specific answer to your question, it will give you a whole bunch of other stuff too. And then it will ask you a whole bunch of questions about, would you like me to do this for you? Would you like me to do that for you? Also, it will expose YouTube videos for you as well and pop it right in the feedback. So basically what you're seeing in just the chatbot versions of these tools is you're seeing a course, right? Or a micro learning in real time being built right in front of your face in a response in a very, simplistic sort of way. But if you think about content and what people need to get their job done, that's what they need. They don't need a fully built 30-minute course on anything. They need an answer. They need something. They need something to tell them what they're doing. And that's what these chatbots are already able to do. So if you just push this out 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, you can see what the possibilities are and where this is going. So, and again, I don't understand the burnout side of it. So I think we should just skip that story and go to.
It's like burnout's a thing, and I've had Alana Fink on talking about burnout before, and I think she has one of the best definitions of it, or best perspectives on it. And I don't know if this is her thing or if she borrowed it from somebody else. I'll give her credit for it. It's that when resources are lower than the necessary ones to achieve the task at hand. So over time, if you've got a task that's really, really complex or hard and you don't have enough resources to put toward it, and you rev really high, you get to a point where you burn out. You just completely deplete resources. So I can see it in all of this context. And I think it's important to talk about burnout and resilience. I even wrote resilience up there related to the verification tax, because this one we see coming up. Now, Eric Johnson joined us on LinkedIn and put a comment in here. He said, what platforms support data-driven learning, individual courses versus the one for all traditional course? That's the comment that's in here. For those of you who aren't seeing comments in the feed, know that the comments are coming directly through our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Live with Brent and Mike. Go follow us there. join onto the channel, and we think it actually creates a little bit better experience from a commenting perspective there than the one that we see inside LinkedIn. So follow us on there, and we'll see it there. To Eric's question on this platform support, data-driven learning, individual courses versus the one for all traditional course, I guess, like how would you describe the evolution of the traditional course, Brent?
Well, in what context and how much time do we have? I mean, we're getting close to the top of the hour, so.
I know we are. So we'll carry some of this over. We do this every day, Monday through Thursday at 9:00 in the morning Eastern. We go live. We're learning. We're kind of figuring things out. We're working into our flow. We start with the news. Well, actually, we start with a kind of a warm up. Then we get into the news, and then once we get through the news, we end up getting ourselves back to kind of discussing what we heard in the news. I think that piece is super important, Eric, that in what context question. So as you go through and say, okay, is the objective to create the course, or is the objective to enable the human to do better things, or is the objective to do something else? And then once you understand the objective, then you can start to determine, how do we solve for the objective? Because when we talk about the compliance piece, there's some regulatory items that are necessary in order for that you have to meet in order for that course to do the thing that it needs to do. Make someone spend 60 minutes looking at a screen, learning about why you're not supposed to talk to people in different ways or touch people in different ways, like for 60 minutes. Like, you literally could do it in the same way that they did in kindergarten. Keep your hands to yourself. Sometimes the things don't need to be said out loud.
Johnny, stop pulling Betty's ponytail.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Like, come on. Like, those are, it depends on what we've got to accomplish in there. Brent, where can people find us?
Well, we didn't even get a chance to do the cutting room floor, but we should.
That's sometimes. So if you want to see the cutting room floor, hit us up at livewithbrentmike.com. We'll get you in the Slack channel. You'll be able to see the script, what we used today. This is all scripted out, other than 15 minutes of it is scripted out. And that's the part where you'll see me very, very uncomfortable. And then the other part of it is us having a conversation around, like, what do we hear? What do we learn? What do we want to do next? So if you go to livewithbrentmike.com, we can give you access to the Slack channel. Yeah. And you can keep the conversation going on there.
For sure. And we're doing all this to help everybody learn about AI in a fun way, by also learning about what's going on in our industry and having this conversation. So that's why we're here. That's why we do this. And we hope you'll continue to join us. It's fun to see people joining us on LinkedIn. Thanks everybody for showing up. But we do encourage you to go to the YouTube channel, because you can have a lot more fun there. And the Slack group. And we'll be back tomorrow.
We will be back tomorrow.
We will be back
tomorrow.
What
do you think? Will the AI adjust and throw some April Fool's jokes in without being prompted to adjust?
Ooh.
Don't prompt it. I want to see if it just does it.
Yeah, I won't say a thing. Oh, it already heard us though, so it's probably going to do something. But we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Adios, man. Bye, everybody.